Welcome back to another Flush 'em and Dust 'em podcast. Tonight we have Doug Davis on. He is from Arizona. What is the temperature like down there in friggin' Iowa right now? It's like 105 heat degree index. It's crazy.
Yeah, right now we're running 100, anywhere between 105 and about 112 degrees.
Damn, 112? That's crazy.
Yeah, we're hitting the 100-degree mark by about 9 a.m.
Wow, that's awesome. But anyways, Doug he trains bird dogs for a hobby, and hunting the uplands is his passion. So we're excited to bring you on, Doug. Obviously, talk about training dogs, how you do it in Arizona with those type of temperatures, what your game plans are during the day to get that in, and we'll just talk about chasing birds, training dogs, and try to have a good time. So if you could introduce yourself for everybody listening, and we'll take it from there.
Sure, you bet. My name is Doug Davis. I live in Mesa, Arizona, community about, I'd say probably about 20 miles outside of Phoenix, Arizona. Lived in Arizona all my life, and I've been hunting. I started upland hunting, oh gosh, when I was about 27 years old. I'm 56 now.
I was gonna say, do you want to tell us how old you are?
I don't mind. I feel young.
Yeah, for sure.
That matters.
Yeah, that's right. So what got you into upland hunting at 27 and not when you were younger?
Well, growing up, I grew up on a farm, ranching, farming, so there wasn't a ton of time for hunting. What hunting we did do was, shooting rabbits and squirrels and things out on the farm. So I got into hunting when I got married to my wife, and her brother was an avid hunter. And so I started going out with him and just doing big game hunting, deer hunting and whatnot. But what actually got me into upland hunting is there was a preserve out here in Arizona that opened up for chukar and pheasants. And we decided to go out there one weekend and give it a try. And stupid as we were back then, we get out to the place and we're like, oh yeah, we want to, let's just do a handful of chukars, a handful of pheasants. And the guy's like, okay, well, do you got dogs? I'm like, no, we don't have any dogs. He's like, oh, okay, well, I've got dogs. And I'm like, well, we were just kind of thinking we were going to walk up and down the fields and see if we can flush them up. He's like, all right, well, good luck, have fun. So we tried that for, I don't know, probably about half hour, 45 minutes and we couldn't find a chukar or a pheasant anywhere. So we went back to this guy with our tail between our legs and like, yeah, I think we're going to need some dogs. He goes, yep, they're pretty tough to find without them. So he had and a couple of English pointers and 2 or 3 German shorthair pointers, and he took them all out there. Now, I wasn't real hugely versed in hunting back then yet. So my idea of a bird dog was a lab,
Yep.
That's what I thought a bird dog was. And so anyway, he got these pointers out there and they started doing their thing and going out there, and one finally locked up, then the other 3 would all lock up right in a line with them. And he says, all right, I'm going to go over there and I'm going to flush them up, and on the clear and safe shot, you guys take them. And man, that's what bit me right then and there. That's what did it for me, is watching those dogs, watching them work, just the whole watching the, the bird rise out of the brush and shooting them and the dogs retrieving them back. I was immediately hooked. And I think I
Did you even
probably
get a
had,
bird? I mean, half the time I hunt with Tyler, and we'll go to those and just leave them all out there for the next guy.
Don't leave them. I miss them.
it was so far long ago. I'm sure we got a couple, but probably not all of them.
Don't worry. When I miss, I always don't remember either. That's my excuse.
It's okay not to remember. The important part is remembering the dogs pointed and the birds flew.
That's right.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So anyway, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
That was your first experience hunting over a bird dog then?
That was my first experience hunting over a bird dog, and I think I had a bird dog probably within a year later.
Nice. What was your first bird dog?
My first bird dog was a English pointer.
Nice.
Awesome.
And I probably had, I've had English pointers my entire life of hunting. The dog I have now, Charlie, he's my first German Shorthair pointer that I've ever had.
So out of all the dogs you've had so far, has there been that one dog that has just set them apart? They say you get one dog in a lifetime that's just like that perfect dog. Did you have one?
Well, I would have to say,
I'd
have to say the dog I have now, Charlie, is it. And I think a lot of it has to do from years of mistakes on my part of learning and training and finally working out all the bugs and finally know what the heck I'm doing when it comes to training dogs. And so yeah, I'm extremely happy with him. The bird dog I had just before him was an English pointer. He did really, really well. And Charlie, he's just, I love taking him out hunting. He's a pleasure to hunt with.
Yeah. Do you know what's like the difference between the English pointer and the German Shorthair pointers that you've had?
From my experience, the ones I've had, the German Shorthair pointer, they run much bigger, much faster. They cover a lot more ground quicker. But to me, that's in the short tail. That's
yeah.
That's about the biggest difference for me is just their ranging and how much faster they go than any of the English pointers I've ever had. A lot of the English pointers I had, depending on what you're hunting, it can be kind of nice because my past English pointers, they just kind of mosey around and kind of a trot and speed, and they would go very methodical and check all the bushes but you wouldn't get very far very fast. It was just which was, if you went on a preserve hunt, which I did a lot of back then, it was perfect. Working those fills really tight, quartering really tight. But when I got Charlie, my German Shorthair, this was going to be my do-all 100% wild upland hunting. I wasn't planning on doing any more preserves. It was all just going to be 100% going out public land and hunting wild birds.
Yeah.
And that was a new curveball. Sorry, what did you say?
I said, how's that been working out for you?
So I had to, that was a learning curve for me, going from hunting a lot of preserve hunting to all wild birds. You're dealing with a lot of different types of terrain, scenting conditions. You're just dealing with a lot more out in the environment rather than, and when you go to these preserves, there's always bird scent out there because they're always releasing birds and they're always planting birds out in these preserves. So there's always birds out there. There's always scent out there. And so when you go out on this public lands,
You know, in a way, I think that can help your dog, because so we hunted on not to interrupt you, we hunted on a
No, you're good.
private piece of ground that was loaded with birds, and the guy dog came in and had a ton of birds. Well, it was me, I think you were there, Tyler, too, and another buddy, and we hunted this, and we didn't lose a single bird. But usually, 1 or 2 times a year, we'll take our dogs to warm them up at a preserve to kind of get their noses working pretty good and get them running through the weeds and stuff. I think it has benefits.
Oh, it definitely has.
Even
Yes,
moving
it
from
definitely.
that to
I do.
wild birds.
I go out to preserves just on a training purposes and do some training, and where you get into more difficulty hunting wild birds is like, for instance, I like to hunt the Mearns quail out here quite a bit, and Mearns quail do not put out a lot of scent. They're very, unless a dog has been exposed to them a lot and has them really well figured out, there could be a covey on the ground and your dog would go right past them and not even know they were there. So what's that?
I said that's kind of crazy that they don't
Yeah.
put out compared to
No, they
you know,
don't. They,
normal quail.
you talk to a lot of guys who've come out here for the first time. A lot of times, if you're drop your dogs down on the ground and it's a bit of a warmer day, not a lot of moisture on the ground, it usually will typically take a dog a day or two to finally, figure them out. A lot of times the dogs will blow through the coveys. They don't get it. They don't understand it, or they just don't know they're there. They don't smell them, or they think there's something there, but they don't know what it is that they're smelling.
Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
now when it comes to the other quail we have here, the scenting conditions, or the smell they put off is a little bit different. Dogs don't seem to have as hard of a time locating him. But yeah, if you want to go hunt Mearns, they're challenging. At least for me, they are.
Yeah, I think we've heard that from others too, that they are a challenging bird to hunt, but a fun bird to hunt, which is good.
Oh, that's why they're my favorite. And there's another story behind that, why they're my favorite. But
Well, you might as well tell it.
Yeah, let's hear
so,
it.
well, so back when I first got into bird hunting, you got to realize we're looking at, that was 1997. There was not the internet that there is today, and social media and all that. So I heard of Mearns quail, seen pictures of Mearns quail, read about kind of where they are, and it was a dream of mine in seeing the pictures of just that beautiful tall grass, rolling hills, the live oaks, just that country. Man, I wanted to go there so bad. And literally it was 3.5 hours from my house. Well, married, 6 kids, busy with kids stuff, sports, all this stuff. There were, and working your tail off. I just never found the time to go out there and go hunt Mearns. So long story short, it's taken me 25 years to go finally hunt Mearns. I did my first Mearns hunt in 2018.
Nice.
With my dog Charlie.
That had to feel good.
Oh, and it was like it was a dream come true. I was finally, after all these years, I was finally there doing it. And Charlie was only 9 months old. But I just, I said, okay, the kids are grown. I've got time to go spend 2 or 3 days and go up there and just start figuring it out. And that's what we did. And
did you figure it out? Did you get some?
I did. I got a couple. And Charlie actually First, the first bird he found, he blew through, and then the second covey he found, he locked up on, and I was able to get a bird out of them. And I think the next day, I think I located a covey and was able to get one out of there. And heck, I didn't even care how many I got. Just
Get a couple.
just being there and being able to just finally realize, hey, I'm here. I'm hunting in Mern's country. I've got a couple in the bag. I was in heaven.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's,
You know,
and I still don't get back there as much as I'd like to. It was only being 3 hours away. This last year, I think I got down there 5-6 days out of the season, which is, I think, the most I've done so far. And I usually go spend a few days in Utah and hunt grouse and try to meet up with Matt Davis with Final Rise and those boys, Derek Allen Rasmussen.
Yeah.
And go hunt. I hunted with them 2 years ago. Couldn't make it happen this last year. I really want to get back this year, but the way gas prices are, who knows?
Yeah, we're
Oh,
supposed to be going to Wyoming, and we're either gonna walk or bike, I think, to get there.
Yeah.
So it's a 14-hour drive. So
yeah, so I mean, I guess if I don't end up going to Utah, it's a good excuse to spend more days hunting Merns.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you have much habitat around where you live now, or do you always have to drive that far away?
So I actually am very fortunate to have public state trust land literally half a mile from my house. And it holds the area that I hunt or even go walking in, holds 2 or 3 coveys of Gamble's quail in it.
Oh, that's nice.
And I actually use that as a source of my training. I'll take my dog in there and just let him go and let the dog go out there and locate coveys of Gamble's. And at that point in time, the birds are training him. The birds are teaching him.
Yeah.
They can teach him, a wild bird can teach your dog more than probably I could ever. And so we're very fortunate in the fact that we can go out there and he gets exposed to a lot of bird exposure and wild flushes and stuff that you just can't really mimic out training in the field.
Yep.
So
I mean, it's just like practice with any sport, right?
Yeah.
You can do as much as you can try as much as you want to make it game-like, but there's nothing like an actual game to really teach you.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, the guy I got, the guy I got Charlie from, he's an outfitter in Texas, and all of his dogs, he breeds dogs, and he also has a quail hunting outfitter, and all of his dogs are 120 days in the field during quail season every year. And
Wow.
that's Charlie's bloodlines right there.
120
And
days. That's impressive.
120 days a year. Yeah.
Damn.
And so, and he told me, he goes, I asked him any chance I get, still to this day, anybody has any training advice to give me, I take it. And he told me, he says, if you can get your dog out on wild birds, as much exposure, the better your dog's going to be.
Yep.
And then he told me that in the beginning of when I first got Charlie, he says, make it a point to get your dog on at least 100 birds in his first 6 months. And he goes, you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed. I don't know if I made it to 100, but dang close. And he was right. I mean, Charlie he just lit up in everything I was throwing at him. Yeah, it was just it was amazing. So yeah, he's doing really well. I'm very happy with him.
Yeah. Do you run GPS on them?
I do. I have the Garmin Alpha 100.
What's 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 Charlie normally ranging at when you guys are out?
He's I got him pretty well flexible. If he's in real heavy terrain, heavy brush, heavy trees, I usually keep him right in around the 50 to 70 yard range. If I'm out more in open country, I'm really don't go too much further. I really don't like him being out much more than 100 yards, especially if you're hunting anything like Gamble's quail or uh, scaled quail. They're runners, and a lot of times they don't hold as well as Merns do. Merns are very tight holding birds, and Gambles and Scalies are not. So a lot of times what can happen is your dog gets birdie and starts going in on those birds. They'll flush out before you're even in shotgun range and even have a chance.
Yeah.
So it's not all lost if that happens, because what you usually do next is once a covey flushes, even if it wild flushes and you won't get a chance, your luck even gets better, because a lot of times what these birds do is once the covey separates, they'll hold up in brush, and they're more than likely to hold even tighter then, because they've all been separated.
Oh yeah.
How far do they usually
So what we
fly
do
once they
then is
flush?
sometimes they'll go 100 yards, sometimes they'll go a couple hundred yards, and you just kind of have to watch where the coveys split off to and watch where they go. And then what I do is I just start making big circles, and I start locating singles. And it's pretty fun. It's your best chance of hunting a covey of Gambles and getting a covey flush is usually right after a big storm. Scenting conditions are amazing. They hold very tight. At least that's what I've always ran into, my experience. I always try to go hunting right after a storm, because it's perfect hunting conditions. It's damp, the scent is pretty sharp, and the coveys are holding tight, and so they don't go very far. And like I said, even if you get a couple out of a covey, we still will start working the dogs, making circles and just going wider and wider, and circles working the area, and you just, like I said, you just start picking up singles. It's a lot of fun.
What would you say the average covey is? How many? 10, 12?
And Gamble's quail, oh my gosh, it's so sporadic. You can go anywhere from 4 on up to the highest I've ever seen is probably 25 or 30.
Oh wow.
Dang.
That's kind of rare. If you wanted to do an average, I'd say probably around 12 to 15.
As I say, Bob White's around here when I see him anyway. It's usually, I would say 8-ish. I don't ever see a ton, but it's like right around 8. I feel like every time I see a covey of quail around Iowa. So.
And that's about what we get with Mearns quail. Mearns coveys are usually on the small side. 4, 8, 10. 10 is a big covey. I'm sure there's bigger ones out there, but on the average, from what my personal experience, what I've run to, if I see 8, 10, that's a huge covey for me.
Nice. You've basically been hunting public lands for the past since what, 2017 or 2018, you said?
Yep, when I got that's when I first started hunting all public land.
So obviously it was a huge learning curve for you. what do you feel like as a handler and for your dogs? What do you feel like the learning curve was there?
Trusting your dog
Man,
was the
isn't that the truth?
biggest thing for me. You know, when you go hunt, when you go and you go to a preserve, you know the birds are there, and it's just you're just waiting for your dog to lock up on something out there. And when you're out public land wild bird hunting, it's like you don't know where they are. And you don't know if there are any out there. And there's just been several times when I first started that, you know, I was smarter than my dog.
I think everybody's been there.
I had, you know, and I was just, and it, you know, it took some time for me to finally, you know, learn to, you know, you'd be walking around and my dog's walking up a ridge and I'm like, well, I really don't want to go up that ridge. And I see this, you know, cover over here that looks like better vegetation that I think quail or something would be in. Well, I'm gonna push my dog to want to go over to and check those areas rather than, you know, following him, which was probably where there was probably a covey of quail up on the top of that ridge that I said, no, we're going down here. So
it seems like every year though, I get taught that same lesson over and over. Come on, beast. I don't think, and all of a sudden,
Boom,
shit.
bird pops up.
I'm like, man. Never learn.
It doesn't pay to walk the easy route.
No, it doesn't. This last hunting season, I was hunting Gamble's quail, and I was in some nasty desert terrain. I was in just thick, nasty cactus and this really rocky face hill, and my dog wanted to keep going up in those hills. And I'm like, man, this sucks. There's just cactus everywhere. He was getting cactus in him. I was getting cactus on me. And this dog was determined to want to go up in these hills. And I'm like, all right, buddy, I guess we're doing it. And sure enough, we found 2 coveys of quail in those hills. Nice. And so he had the drive to want to go there, and he convinced me we needed to go, and we went, and it paid off. But man, it was, you know, we came back home and probably spent 2 hours pulling cactus out.
At least it wasn't a porcupine.
This is true. Now, I haven't had that experience yet, but I've seen the pictures, and I'm like, yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah,
that shit would hurt. What are the cactuses like? What kind of pants and stuff do you have to wear to keep them from stabbing through?
Man, you know what? I probably have about 7 or 8 pairs of different pants that I've tried. And there's those I hate them. those heavy canvas pants are probably your best bet to not get stuck by cactus. But I just hate wearing them because they're so heavy.
So hot.
They're very hot. So my best go-to pants that I've had success with is Cabela's has those Instinct Prairie Runner pants. Have you seen those?
I'll look them up quick.
I haven't seen those.
Yeah, those
or Instinct, like Instinct the band, or Instinct?
Instinct Prairie Runner pants. The pants themselves, the material is very lightweight and stretchy, which I like. They have the articulated knees. They have zippered vents, pockets, but the front facing of them that is really thick, and I don't think I've ever had any cactus go through there.
I like those suspenders on them.
Yeah, yeah, you can get the suspenders. So I really like those pants. My second go-tos when I'm no, I'm not going to be in heavy cactus cover. I like the First Light Sawbucks.
I've had a lot of people. I put a poll out on Instagram a while ago about pants, and a lot of people were talking about the First Light Sawbucks, that they
Yeah,
really enjoyed them.
yeah, I really like them. They're lightweight,
I haven't
flexible.
looked on their page, but maybe Pike Gear has something on there. They always seem to have some crazy good gear. But from what I've looked, I haven't looked
They
at
have. I've
pants
heard
like
they've had
that.
really nice. Yeah, I've heard they've had really nice pants. I've talked to some guys that have said literally that's the only pair of pants they wore for 5 days out in the field straight. you know,
Is
and
it? Are they called Kiowa? Is that a
I think
pair of
so.
pants?
I think you're right on that.
Kiowa? I think so. Without looking it up.
Let me check quick.
They have a couple of different brands of pants. I think there's two different kinds, if I remember right. But yeah. So, but you know, you get what you pay for too. I think their pants run over $200 a pair.
Well, they're currently on sale for $109.95, but usually they're
Yeah.
$220.
Oh wow! See, there you go.
Yeah.
But they are.
Yeah.
Let's see. They're sold out. Not surprised.
Yeah.
As is
We use
everything.
we put oh god, Orvis chaps on. And those
Yeah.
seems I've had those for what, 4 years now? This will be my fifth. And those babies are still rocking. They're in great shape
Really?
and they withstand. I mean, we hunt cattails and stuff when we're in South Dakota and whatnot, and my zippers haven't broke or anything on them. So I really like those.
Yeah. I accidentally broke my zipper last year. I tried to put my boot on without realizing that the zipper wasn't all the way up and done fucked it up.
I'm not saying it will stand Cactus, but
Yeah, Cactus would just be
worth a try, I guess.
Yeah, we have this in some of different parts of Arizona. We have this cactus out here that's called cholla, and it is the nasty of nasty cactus. They call it jumping cholla because literally you walk by it, it'll just grab you and stick to you, and it's extremely hard to get off of you. You get it on your dog. You get it on your dog, your hunt's almost you might as well just go back to the truck and call it a day.
Even on short hairs, it sticks to them just like crazy.
Oh, it penetrates their skin.
Oh, really?
Like needles. It literally goes in, and they have little barbs at the end where they don't want to come out.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, and unfortunately there's a lot of areas, the Gambel's quail love those areas for protection from predators.
Oh yeah, because
but
wouldn't want
to. I'd go hunting in there without a dog. I wouldn't go hunting in there with a dog because I've done it. I learned the hard way and did it, and it was a nightmare. I had, as soon as a dog gets one on him, your dog's instinct is to grab it with its mouth and try to fling it off.
Yeah.
Well, now it's all over in your dog's mouth.
How small are the little burrs on it? Like, are they easy to see and feel, or
they can be very, very, very small to larger spines. They're different variety of sizes. If you Google it and look at the pictures, you'll see exactly what I mean.
what kind of cactus is it again?
It's called a what did I say it was? Now I'm having
something.
Cholla cactus. Cholla, I think is how it's spelled.
Cactus.
But yeah, they're just
these things.
It'll probably show you pictures of people that have gotten it on them.
Sneaky jumping cola cactus. Oh my god.
yeah, it's their. Yeah, you want to stay away from. Yeah. Oh, it's horrible. There's pictures of people that have fallen in fallen in the stuff, or
Oh,
mountain bikers that have wrecked and fallen into cholla cactus, and
Oh my gosh.
it's just all over their bodies, and literally, but yeah, my dogs have had it all over them. I mean, it's just like, and I've had to
Jesus.
go home and literally spent hours, sometimes days, picking out cactus.
Jeez.
You know, you sit there and take them
Wear a
home
nut-
and get out
Gotta wear a nut
what.
cup walking through that shit. You don't get any there. Jesus.
Yeah, no, it's not good stuff.
You'd remember that poke.
Oh,
Oh my
it
goodness.
is. Yeah, that's not a. It's a good way to ruin a hunt in a day in a hurry.
Yeah.
So
How did have your dogs kind of learned cactus? I guess, to like run around.
You know,
like dogs
my
learn fences, do they learn
yeah,
cactus?
my dog. Yeah, my dog. So I have hunted in spotty cholla where it's kind of sporadic, not real thick, but it's there. And my dog has learned to steer clear of it as best he can. And so I have gone and hunted in those areas where it's just kind of some here, some there, and he can maneuver around it quite a bit. In fact, that area I was telling you about where it was real nasty cactus and going up in the nasty hills, there was cholla in there that we were having to navigate around.
Is it easy to pick out from a distance?
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah.
Know if it looked like other cactus out there?
Oh yeah, you can. I'll be driving down. You drive down a dirt road or a highway or something, and you're looking. I'm like, nope, not going in there. There it is.
It's like a bird refuge because they know nobody will be in there.
Oh, I know a lot of people that like to hunt quail that don't have dogs, and that's where they go. So, and they probably have more success than a lot of us do with dogs.
Yeah, if they can find them.
They can find them in there, yeah.
That's
So
crazy that the birds just must be that the birds, it doesn't like stick to them or anything.
Just growing up around it, I guess they probably
know
they
how
probably
to stay away
learn
from it, and
yeah.
that's interesting.
And if I was a coyote and I was trying to go in after trying to get a Gamble's quail and that stuff is in there, I'd be like, nope, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm not going in there.
Do you see a lot of coyotes out in the desert?
Yeah, I don't see a lot of coyotes out in the desert when I'm out hunting, but the areas that I go training in, that I've encountered coyotes. In fact, this last summer, I was out training, and I had 2 coyotes start circling us.
Oh shit!
That was kind of eerie.
Was it in the spring?
Yeah, they had pups nearby because I could hear them. I could hear the pups,
Oh, yeah.
and yeah, they were so. When I first saw the first one, I brought Charlie back in. I healed him up next to me, and then I saw the second one, and yeah, they were circling in on us, getting closer and closer and closer.
Do you carry a sidearm with you?
I did. I had a gun with me, and I thought, okay, boys,
Yeah.
any closer and it's lights out. But I think I started throwing rocks at them, and they took off and they went back to their den.
Nice.
Have you seen
So-
that?
What about snakes? There any snakes up there? Rattlesnakes?
There's rattlesnakes everywhere, especially this time of year. In the summertime.
Your dogs trained to
so,
avoid stuff?
Yeah, I go once a year and have a follow-up done with my dog to do rattlesnake avoidance. And
What does that look like? What do they do?
I'll tell you, so this year was a little bit different. The guy I take him to is he did a little bit different this year. This time he had two rattlesnakes 40 yards apart. So what they do is you get your dog out there and he's on a check cord, and they have a shock collar on him. And basically you kind of lead, but try to let the dog figure out the scent of the rattlesnake on the ground out of curiosity. And once that dog gets into a few feet away and is showing curiosity, he'll light him up with the shock collar. And the shock collar's turned up quite a bit. It will literally make a dog jump 5 feet in the air. I mean, that's how hot that shock is. And but that's to give him the oh crap, that hurt, a reminder. That's how they remember and what you're doing is you're trying to instill in them sight, smell, and sound of a rattlesnake. You're trying to get, and sometimes you won't do it once. Sometimes you'll go in a second time to see what your dog's going to do. And I've watched dogs even go in after being shocked like that once. They'll go in on the second time. And you're like, holy crap, really? So, but what's weird is this last year, so we had two rattlesnakes out this year, and he had one with a rattler and one with no rattler.
Oh.
And Charlie went cruising in and locked up as soon as he smelt that rattlesnake. Of course, he had the thing was rattling like crazy, and you could definitely tell, okay, I can hear it, I can smell it, I can see it. And he locked up and he was literally pushing against me, like he was trying to push me away as well. So like, okay, cool, he's good there. So then we went in on the second snake that had no rattler, and Charlie cruised right in on it. Now, the guy that I take him to, we talked about it for a minute. He goes, we can run him through it again and see what happens. He goes, was it the fact that there was no rattler that he went on it, or was it the fact that maybe there was a sudden change in the wind direction and the scent where he didn't catch it? But because it was his third time being in on rattlesnakes and having that done, we decided we were pretty confident in the fact that he understood, what was going on, because he got lit up. He got within a few feet of that snake with no rattler, and we lit him up. And he was like, remember that?
Yeah. Do those snakes, do they take the venom out of them in case one gets bit?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they defang him.
Okay.
And devenom them. Yeah, they do, just as a safety precaution.
And then was the concept for doing the no rattle one for? Is there times out in the wild when you run into them when they're not rattling, or is it pretty common?
Yeah, sometimes it can be your dog's out there running, and it can be a complete surprise to a rattlesnake that, all of a sudden, bam, something's right there, and it wasn't being threatened by anything, so there's no rattling going on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And by all means, it's.
Have you ever had a dog get bit?
I have never. My dog has never been bit yet, thank goodness. I'm usually pretty cautious about when and where I'm hunting. Like I'll wait, like here in Arizona, Gamble's quail, scaled quail, it opens up in the middle of October, but it's still pretty warm. But, I want to get out there and go hunting bad enough. I'll get up in higher elevation. I can get up around 4,500, 5,000 feet in elevation, and I'll go out first thing in the morning, and it's, 58, 60 degrees, which is still a little warm. And you could encounter a rattlesnake, but it might be cold. It's cold enough to where they might be out, but it's cold enough for them to where they're just out trying to sun themselves and get warm. And they're very, very docile. They're very, very slow to move when they're cold. And they don't want to use that energy trying to strike at something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of
So
nice in Iowa. We don't have snakes. I don't mind the coyotes and the raccoons and those, but
yeah,
a bunch of rattlesnakes out kind of suck.
I mean, there's
I have
timber rattles around here, but I've never ran into one. I think it's pretty uncommon.
Yeah, I've got acquaintances that their dogs have gotten bit by rattlesnakes, and I've never had to endure that, thank goodness. And the area that I train I train in a small, it's like a 30, 40 acres, just a small parcel of land it's state trust land. So it's open to you can actually, there's properties and buildings all the way around it, but you can actually go dove hunting in it in dove season. You have to follow the quarter-mile rule, but you can. I mean, you got buildings and city streets going all the way around it, and that's where I take him to train. And I've been taken into this area to train for 5 years now, and I have never encountered a rattlesnake out there in this area that I'm at. So I feel pretty comfortable about working him out there and not having to worry about that. And we get out in this, we were talking about earlier, how do we deal with the summer heat and training? We're out before the sun comes up. We're out in the dark, putting GPSs on the dogs and getting water ready, and we're planting birds and getting stuff ready as soon as first light hits, and you barely can see what you're doing. And then by the time we have dogs on the ground, you're probably 5-10 minutes into daylight.
How long are you guys running them for in the mornings?
Not very long, maybe an hour, and that's it.
Yeah.
Sometimes even sooner. We may take one dog and do a short exercise, 2 or 3 birds, 20-30 minutes, dogs back in the kennel, and we have to cycle through it pretty quick because it's getting hot pretty quick. So depending on, a lot of times if I'm out with other guys and we're training dogs together and there's 3 or 4 dogs out there, you got to cycle through it pretty quick, because I mean, honestly, by 7-8 o'clock in the morning, it is just too flipping hot for the dogs.
Yeah, I can't imagine Arizona.
This last weekend, I took my dog out to run just to give him some exercise and get out and stretch his legs. And same thing, I was out at 5 a.m. and he ran maybe 3-4 miles, and that was it. We were done. We were packing up and going home. Yeah. And I usually when I go out and run my dog, when it's not hot like this, we're usually doing a 13-mile day.
Oh, that's awesome. I just bought I can't remember the brands, called Urban something, but it attaches to your bicycle.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. I was looking at those.
Yeah, it's basically like a rod that sticks out I think the rod's like 1.5 feet
Uh-huh.
long, and then it has, you can put a short leash on it, or it has an extended leash on it. And I just got that this past week. I've been working the dogs with it, and I like it because you can take them for, the most we've done so far, just getting used to it, is 3 miles, but it only takes like 20-25 minutes.
Yeah.
You can cruise right along, and it shakes it up from just going out and throwing bumpers every day, and
Yep.
stuff like that. So it's just a better way. It's more getting their endurance built up rather than just the quick 50 yards out, 50 yards back, 50 yards,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's
break. But they seem to enjoy it. Obviously, we just started with it, but I'm still waiting for a rabbit or something to bust out and pull the back wheels out from underneath me.
yeah.
That'll be interesting.
I actually had, so when I run my dog, I'm on a bike. I don't have that setup that you were talking about. I just he's out on his check cord about 5 feet in front of me.
Yeah.
And we've done it. He's done it since he's a pup. So he runs out in front of me, and he knows the command over means to turn. So I can say over and start leaning into a turn, and he'll turn with me.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, he knows exactly where we're going and how I want him to go. And if I say over, he knows to turn left or turn right, which way, based on which way I'm leaning. Because like I said, we've done it so much. Well,
That's awesome.
The problem is I actually have Gamble's quail in my neighborhood.
Oh.
And we'll be cruising down the street, and he used to just, those things will go, they'll run, they'll start running down the street or running across the street. He'll want to dart on after them. But that was then. Now he'll actually, if he sees a quail even in our neighborhood, and it's running, he locks up, he stops, and he watches it, which is like, thank goodness.
Yeah, that's nice. Doesn't try to pull you. So do you have it hooked up? You don't have it hooked up to your whatever the handlebars. You have it hooked up to like the little post on the front.
I wear gloves, and and I'm just holding on to I'm holding on to the rope.
Oh, you're brave.
And that way, if I have to, I just let go of the rope, and I'm free of any failures and crashing.
I'm thinking about getting the same setup Tyler has, but my damn dog, he needs to piss on everything that's out there. I take him for a walk, and he basically wants to pull you over to that tree. So Tyler, I'm like, I can see it. First 2 minutes in, he's gonna scent a tree, and I'm just gonna go fucking flying off my bike. My wife even says, "I don't think you should do it." So I'm like,
I want you to do it. Just
I want to do it, but I'm worried for my safety.
you need to borrow it, see if it works, and then second of all, and then somebody needs to videotape it.
Yeah,
just in case things go south.
Oh, my wife already
got it on video.
She goes. I said, well, we got to go to a secluded area, so there's nobody around. So if I get drugged across the freaking he's a 90-pound lab, so he's pretty strong. So I think if he decided to go, he'd just boom, and my ass would go. I'd go down.
All over. That's it. We're done. And that's.
I'm gonna need some of those. I'm gonna need some cactus pants, and I'm gonna have to put on my Harley Davidson gear to go out there and do this.
He'll be BMXing out there.
You wear your helmet. People will be like, "That what the heck is he doing?
What's this guy got going on?" Yeah, I got one of those dog biting suits on. Fucking
like
so scared. What's this guy got going on? Dogs are me. I mean, I'm afraid of this guy. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, you have to get it and see what happens.
Oh, he's so much better if I have him just like. Part of me is just like, well, I could just bike with him and keep him on a shock collar, and he seems to listen so much better when I do that. But for some reason, when I put him on a lead, I don't ever have him on a lead. Like I could walk across the highway right now and make him heel all the way across, but if I had him on a lead, he doesn't want to listen to me.
Yeah.
So
you know what's funny is my dog, if I go for a walk, he's very well behaved if I have I have the shock collar on him, and he'll heel the entire time and just behave like a champ. But man, if I take him for a walk and say, I don't feel like putting the collar on today, I'm just going to take him out really quick, he wants to pull me the entire time. I'm like, dude, come on.
Yep.
So they know.
Yeah.
It's like,
they definitely know.
I don't have that stupid thing on. I can do whatever I want.
Yep.
Yeah, I wish I would have started the bike thing a lot when they were younger, just so they were used, a little more used to it already. But we'll see how this summer goes. And
I wished I could get away with just running and not even worrying about having them on a leash or some sort of restraint and just run next to you. But in my neighborhood, everybody'd be up in arms freaking out about it.
Yeah, there's a
drive your dog on a lead. Oh god.
Yeah. There's a lady, I don't know, well, a young girl, she's probably in high school, that she has a little oh god, not a Yorkie, but no, they're yay long and they're a light brown color, have like pointy ears. Oh god.
It sounds like a
Chihuahua?
Yorkie.
No, I don't know what it is, but that dog, yeah, she'll walk downtown, like through people, and she'll be on her bicycle. That dog will just stay right next to her, won't even be about 2 inches away from the tire. She can go anywhere, doesn't go anywhere. Stays right next to her. It's awesome. It's pretty cool. Mine with people, they'd be wanting everybody to pet them. Awesome. Well, Doug, we appreciate you coming on the podcast, talking about getting into the public land hunting, where you started to where you're at now, and look forward to seeing your dog in the field. Some pictures and videos this year on Instagram and.
Oh yeah, we're always having fun. That's for sure. Getting out there and training dogs, as we like to do, is get out there with people and help them with their dogs. So
yeah, for sure. No, we appreciate it, and we'll stay in touch. Absolutely. And who knows, maybe we'll make it down to Arizona someday.
Come on down, man. We'd love to have you. Thanks for having me on.
Well, I will for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
Well,
all right.
Awesome. We'll
Thanks,
talk to you
Doug.
later.
I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. We'll see you. Thanks, guys.